YouTubers, welcome to our special coverage of the Bikini Olympia 2022. Pre-judging has finished, and let me tell you, this has been the most competitive lineup in bikini history. All the girls have brought their A game, all the way from your top competitors to the athletes lower down the list. And remember, there is just under 60 competitors competing this year. Now, before I kick off with my recap of the pre-judging, I'm just going to drop some of the highlights from the bikini press conference on your screen.
Have her back. I think all of us up here, we're competitors. You know, we come here for the competition, and it makes it more exciting for us. So,
is she the biggest threat to you this weekend?
Honestly, I think everyone is the biggest threat. Everyone up here is bringing their A game. I don't think there's one person who's not going to be bringing their best. We have the biggest lineup, and we're going to have the most competitive lineup, but my biggest threat is just myself. So.
You are a threat, that's for sure, because you are the reigning champ right now.
Absolutely. Everything changes. The physiques have gotten better. Posing changes. But I think the biggest difference is just the talent pool is deeper and deeper every single year. So new crowd of girls come in every single time, which makes it more competitive, better athletes every single time I step on stage. So never an easy task.
I just want to say one thing, Bob, because
The platform is yours.
as a veteran and a former champion, coming back to this Olympia stage means much more than just the placing and the title. And for me, it's a platform to show women that when you set your mind to something and you put effort, you keep going after it, that you can achieve anything that you put your mind to. A sense of empowerment and confidence, and that's what this means for me.
Now, to kick things off, I cannot tell you how insane the first call-outs were. Like, this was such an incredibly stacked lineup of the best competitors in the world. The caliber of this division this year is just another level. The judges asked Jenn Dorie, Ashley Kaltwasser, Maureen Blanquisco, Lauralie Chapados, Janet Leung, Isa Pecini, Amy Velasquez, Daraja Hill, and Romina Basualdo back on the stage for the lineup for the first call-out comparisons. Honestly, this is such an amazing first 9 to call out. Straight off the bat, Jenn Dorie looks like she's in that box seat to go back-to-back Olympia titles. I'm going to throw her individual posing routine up as well so you guys can see it for yourselves. Her routine was absolutely flawless and hit every pose effortlessly. She is looking more conditioned, more developed. I would even go as far as to say it is perfect. She has not compromised her fullness, but her tie-ins are more defined. She has built up her physique even more, with her delts being a standout, making her overall look more balanced. She's absolutely killed pre-judging, and I would be surprised if she doesn't come home with the Olympia crown. So they asked Jenn, Maureen, Ashley and Daraja back on stage to do another round of comparisons. And it's looking very likely this is going to be your top 4, unless something major changes for finals. Jenn definitely looks like she'll be in that top position, but they rotated Ashley, Maureen and Daraja all in that second place throughout this comparison. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these placings ends up in the final show. But let me tell you, Ashley looked insane, Maureen looked insane, and Daraja looked insane. Now, this is the best I've seen Ashley as yet. She didn't have a weakness in her physique, although I still do believe her posing could improve. But let me tell you, she looked jacked, brought in the right amount of conditioning. It was so amazing to witness. Maureen also brought in her best package, I think, in her whole career. She had that sauciness when she posed. That beautiful balance between her front and rear pose. I think she just looked incredible and is in pole position to take out second position spot depending on finals. I absolutely love Maureen. She's an amazing competitor and one of the realest people you'll ever meet. I'm such a huge fan of Maureen. Let me tell you, Daraja came back with a vengeance from her last show where she came second and proved all the doubters wrong. She came in tighter and more conditioned. Her waist looked so much sharper from last week, and in signature Daraja style, she showed off her amazing taper, and you couldn't help but be captivated watching her on stage. She's also battling it out for that second spot, and cannot wait to see what she does for finals. I will be rooting for Daraja. In the next comparisons to battling it out for 5 to 10, they called back Romina, Lauralie, Janet, Amy, Isa and Phoebe. God, this Olympia lived up to all the hype. They were moving the competitors around during their comparisons, but it ended up with Lauralie and Amy Velasquez holding front and center, which will likely be for that 5th and 6th position. This is definitely the best show of the year. I don't think anyone would have predicted Lauralie not being in that top 3, and it really looks like Amy has a solid chance at beating out Isa and Jenn to cement her spot as the biggest rising star of 2022. Now I also have to show the individual posing routine of Amy Velasquez because she is a rising star and has absolutely knocked it out of the ballpark this year and has climbed up to the top of the ladder. Amy just looked like she belonged in that top competitor lineup. You would not think this is her first Olympia ever, would you? What I love about her physique is she's just so well balanced. She has that stage presence which grabs your attention, and she also has that muscle development already. I cannot wait to see how she officially places, but this girl is a killer. Lauralie also looked absolutely stunning, but I think everyone would have had her coming in at that 1st or 2nd position before this show started, but it looks like she might slip down to 5th or 6th. I thought she looked a bit off for the Lauralie that we're used to, and maybe looked a bit flat. Her delts weren't as popping as we're used to seeing. We will see if she can do a last minute carb up before finals to try and push back into that top 3. Another individual routine I want to show you is Jenn Leung. I thought she absolutely killed it and will go as far as saying that Jenn and Jenn's posing routines were the best at this year's Olympia, hands down, no questions asked. Jenn looked absolutely breathtaking as per usual. Her posing was flawless, her presentation immaculate. You can even see all her muscle gains this year. She is easily the most jacked she has ever been. I think in the rear shot she even had the biggest glutes out of all the competitors. Now the last individual routine I will touch on is Isa. Isa did look incredible, there is no denying that. Her waist, as we all know, is one of the smallest in the lineup, which really helps her when she locks into that front pose. In her rear shot, her glutes and hamstrings were lacking a bit compared to the others, and I think this hurt her a bit and will reflect in the final placings. But overall, Isa's physique is beautiful and presents so well. Isa is still so young and has already won the O title before, so I could see her winning the biggest show in bodybuilding again in the next few years. Guys, that is all from me right now. I will be continuing to do my Olympia coverage. If you haven't already, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also check out my Instagram, Bikini Nation, like, subscribe, all that nice stuff. I hope you're all pumped for finals, should only be a few hours away. See you guys in a bit. Over and out from Bikini Nation.